A noisy road. Bella Bella Dorshti Dorshti. I don't know if any of you guys notice how Russian sounds like that. Dorshti Dorshti. Как дела? Как дела? Спасибо. Dorshti Dorshti. Borshti Borsht. Alright. Today we're talking about the 7 virtuous sins. And I hope you guys can hear me. I suspect that you can. Right. Get the sound right. Yeah, I think you can hear me now. Hear me. All right, it's going. All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about 7 sins that you must cultivate, that you must bring out into your life. Okay? These are things that as children we're never taught to cultivate, refine. We're taught to subdue, suppress, hide. You have to cultivate these things. You have to refine them, right? Imagine, I'm not going to use an analogy. You get what I'm saying. There are 7 sinful virtues. When cultivated, attract everything that you desire. And I really mean that. I really mean that. And there are more virtues, but these are the 7. They're just going to match up with the 7 deadly sins. These are the 7 virtuous sins that you need to practice, you need to get good at. Just like anything, like riding a bike, if you become very good at it, you'll be successful. Now, I will use an analogy here. Imagine if you lived in a society that said you're not supposed to ride your bike. Okay, because there was a guy named Billy that rode his bike and rode off a cliff and died. And so they outlawed bikes. And then you don't talk about bikes, and then bike makers are jailed and put in prison. And that's a vehicle. That's a nice vehicle. Let me show you guys what this thing is. Look at that. Oh, you can't see it. I will cover up my phone. Look at that. It's a cool little vehicle. Oh, yeah. When I see attractive women, I'm just going to do that. Just turn the phone around so you can see what I'm looking at. And then you'll understand why I get distracted. There's not going to be any here because this is not the best area. Anyway, so the 7 virtuous sins. Before that, let's give an introduction. There are 7 sins that you need to cultivate, that you need to work on, that you need to practice. That, let's see what the popo are doing here. I don't know why he's sitting here staring at me. Is he being a creeper? Is he being a creeper? Let's see. It's 2 of them. Are they being creepers? You guys being creepers? I don't know. Anyway, so there's 7 virtues. This is a terribly ghetto spot. It's just, you've got the gummy worm herders, the police. You got probably some dead person in that thing that's flying past. All you need is a crackhead to walk by. Let's keep our eyes out. We might see a crackhead. All right. So there's 7 virtues. There's 7 sinful virtues that you must cultivate. And like I was saying in my analogy, it's like if a boy named Billy's on his bike and he rides off a cliff, and then all of society says, "Oh, we got to outlaw bikes," because Billy was an idiot and didn't learn how to ride the bike properly, and then rode himself off a cliff. Well, that's how the church teaches sin. And I'm put big quotes around it, sinful virtues, and things like that. So we're going to talk about the 7 here that you need to cultivate, you need to work on, and you've been shamed away from these things and taught that it's wrong and it's bad and it's evil and be a good boy or be a good girl. And you don't need to shy away from these sins. You need to cultivate them, you need to refine them, and then you need to utilize them daily, consistently, all the time. As a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to say. You already do these things naturally. You will do them from birth until death. And that's how the church traps you, is they say, oh, you're going to be sinful forever. And what they do is they find stuff that you have to do just to be a smart thinking human. Like get angry, like desire, like lust, All of these things are natural, important, necessary aspects of being a functional, smart human. Like I said in the video yesterday, there it is again. Like I said in the video yesterday, this is a shit spot, so I may have to do this video again, but I will. Like I said yesterday, you know, society kind of teaches you to be, obviously, I say this all the time, society teaches you to be stupid and gummy wormish and all that stuff. But these sins, they're not actually sins. They're natural, important things you have to do as a human to be successful. You will never be successful if you do not master these 7 things. Okay, and I did an entire video on one of them, which is greed. So you got to check that out. Just go. I shut it down because I cussed somebody out during the video. But I was like, fuck it, whatever, man. I don't give a shit if they cut this channel off. I can just make another one or go to another medium or, I'll find another way. But I don't give a fucking shit. So it's out again. It's available. You can watch it. A lot of people liked it. So it's like, I guess if I'm authentic and caustic and evil, then people like it. I don't want to be that way. But I am naturally that way. All of us are. And I'm just giving you permission to be that way. But just be that way in a way that's intelligent and selfish. You need to be, if you're going to be caustic, if you're going to be evil, big quotes, if you're going to be hateful and all these things, you have to be smart and intelligent about it so that you can preserve your life and preserve and perpetuate your satisfaction in life, not your happiness. You don't deserve happiness if you're Apex. You don't deserve hope. You don't deserve, throw all that stuff in it. Get a giant spiritual trash can, take hope, take happiness, take niceness, put all that in the trash, set it on fire, and do a ceremony and dance around it like a godless heathen and live a good life after that. And goodness, throw goodness in that trash too. The Bible supports everything I'm saying here, and I'll give you all the verses if you want to grow and be an exceptional human and kick ass in life. So anyway, I'll say this again. Humans are the only animals on the planet. And I'm going to say people are animals, okay? Humans are divine in a way, but people and humans I separate. Humans are apex humans, that's us. People are the gummy worms. That's why I say I love humanity, I hate people, and I cherish individuals. Like little children are all human. Adults are people. A couple of adults are human. Follow the logic. It's a very logical statement. I love humanity, I hate people, I love and cherish individuals. Okay, that's the happiness sandwich. That's a pejorative statement, happiness. I don't believe in happiness. I think you should get rid of it, destroy it, never have happiness in your life. It's a terrible thing to have. If you're Apex. If you're a gummy worm, you need happiness to wake up every day and survive. Okay? So there are 7 sinful virtues that you must know, that you must cultivate so that you can attract power, fulfillment, satisfaction in life. The first of these is anger. Anger, unrestrained, uncultivated, unrefined, destroys who? You. It destroys you. Okay? That's why anger can be negative, okay? But just like the bike analogy, if Billy rides his bike and gets run over by a car and then we outlaw all bikes, well then now we've gotten rid of a useful form of transportation, okay? Anger is a useful emotion. The Bible says in Ephesians 4:26, be ye angry but sin not, okay? Anger is a wonderful tool for creation, okay? Righteous anger ignites boundaries. It disseminates oppression, which doesn't exist. It protects you from those who might cause you harm, and it restores order. It's just a wonderful way to protect yourself, but also to be active about something. I know if I get very truly angry, I get shit done. If I get truly angry, there are very few times in my life when I've been like truly angry. When I get truly angry, I get things done. Now I'll blow off and cuss things out and say profanity, and that's me just off-gassing, And I'm just saying that because you may want to off-gas too. Sometimes it's good to do that. But the anger is an important thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of men have pent-up, repressed anger. Females, not as much, because they're little, they got little bodies, and, they got little tiny hands, and if they get angry, you can just smack them, and then you shouldn't do that. That's domestic violence. But what I'm saying is, women, nobody cares if they get angry. Girls, nobody cares. But when boys and men get angry, danger happens and destruction happens and people can die. And so it's a question of, should we castrate men and tell them, don't get angry? Let's manage your anger. Or should you refine your anger and use it in a way that is exacting like a scalpel, and you're able to carve out the life that you want, or a chisel, carve out the life that you want. Okay? And so as a man, it's very important to be angry, and not appropriately, because that's another judgment, but angry in a way that helps you to get shit done. Okay? There are times when I've shown extreme anger in public, in front of law enforcement even. And they were like, okay. I mean, there was a couple of times that I was fine. I only went to jail once when I did that. Ooh, that was a life-changing experience. I only went to jail once, but they were cool though. That's why I don't have any problem with law enforcement. I think they're cute because they all wear the same outfits and they all walk together and they all hold their hands. I think the gayest thing in the world are the police. I'm gonna be honest, because they wear these matching outfits and they drive in these cars. They all look so cute, like little boys in their outfits. Anyway, okay. So Apex humans don't suppress anger. We weaponize it with precision. It's all about precision and refinement. That's what we're doing here. The second sinful virtue, a virtuous sin, is desire. There's one thing I find, this is why I find Buddhism to be a gummy worm religion. Because it is a religion. Even though a lot of Buddhists tell you it's a philosophy. Well, so is Christianity. It's a religion. The thing I don't like about Buddhism is this whole idea of getting rid of desire. And obviously when you get into esoteric Buddhism, they talk about cultivating desire. Okay, when you take that's a Mahayana or Hinayana path, when you get deep into Buddhism, they're like, yeah, desire is great. You're supposed to have desire. You're supposed to refine it and go for what you want. Don't be a stupid fucking idiot and get rid of desire, because then just stop breathing. Okay, your body, desire is important. So desire is drive. It's what moves the cosmos. It's what creates new things. It's what creates great life, and it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. All right, let's do this. And it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And so to get rid of desire, to kill desire, is to kill life itself. And it's to get rid of your drive for life itself. Suppress desire, you die. Master it and you materialize, you manifest. Master desire and you manifest. So in Psalms 37 verse 4, it says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. There are many places in the Bible where the desires of your heart and the desires that you have within yourself are things that you must pursue and you must conquer, you must master, you must experience, you must bring into life. So your desires are divine instructions. Follow them with clarity. Unfulfilled desire is sinful. It's self-destructive. If you want something and you never experience it, that is unfulfilled desire. And that's actually what the Bible is against. There are many places in the Bible where it talks about God destroying, like the Sodomites. And it's not talking about gay people. So let's get that out of our heads. So many these modern Christians, they say, oh, people that practice sodomy are gay. No, they're not. Look up sodomy in the dictionary, please. There's so many times we use words and we don't know what the fuck we're saying. But anyway, sodomy is not homosexuality. Homosexuality is a form of sodomy. But oral sex is sodomy. Sex with a condom is sodomy. Any sexual act that does not result in offspring is sodomy by basic definition. Look it up for yourself. So there are a lot of people that will perform spiritual sodomy. That's why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, because sodomy is the stoking of the fires of desire without results. So desire, we'll talk about sex, the sexual act. The point of the sexual act is produce another human. That's the point of it, right? Obviously, sexuality is fun and you're supposed to play with it and have pleasure and desire from it, right? And connection. It's how relationships are maintained and built. But the reason the Bible highlights the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah is that they were stoking the fires of desire and not having results come of it. That was the problem with sodomy. And if you're a Christian and you've had a girlfriend for 6 years, and we know you guys have been stupping like for the entire 6 years, and you don't have 6 kids, you're sodomites by definition. Okay? So desire is not wrong. Okay? Pleasure is not wrong. Playing around and having fun and preventing yourselves from getting pregnant is not wrong. It's not sinful. It is the spiritual aspect of desire that is unfulfilled. Why? Because it creates this this unrequited seeking of pleasure. It is the pursuit of joy. It is a pursuit of satisfaction without ever having it. And that's what the Buddhists were originally saying. Of course, the English speakers got a hold of it. Oh, don't have desire. I'm going to live in a mountain and be a righteous prick and just be a fucking asshole. Anyway, I love the U.S. Navy. Okay, Iranian. I love the U.S. Navy. All right. Okay. So that's a good one. That goes into like anger and vengeance and all that stuff. But we'll get into that later. All right. So the third third virtuous sin that you have to cultivate, it's very important to cultivate this, is greed. I talked about this whole video on it yesterday. Greed is natural, okay? So is lust. You can't see her. She's so freaking far away. But anyway, greed is natural. It's important. It's a wonderful thing. Anybody that shames greed or talks about the elite that run the world and they're taking all the money, they are just as greedy as the people on top. They just don't have the resources to exercise their greed. And so they blame and shame people on top, and then they sneakily go behind the back and conceal their greed. But they're still greedy. They're the most greedy people on the planet. The least greedy person on the planet is the person who fulfills their desire and who has the resources to feed their greed in a healthy and intelligent way. Okay? So, greed for survival is natural. Greed for influence builds civilizations. Greed also just leads to expansion and growth, and you're supposed to be that way. God is extremely greedy. Okay? Look at nature. Nature's extremely greedy. Every single tree, if you were to cultivate all the seeds that fall from it, the earth would be covered over by trees millions of times over. Life is greedy. Love is greedy. Everything that is functioning in the world in a healthy and intelligent way is greedy. So you must cultivate your greed. You just have to be intelligent about it. Like I said in the other video yesterday, if there are 5 people and 5 cookies, or 6 cookies, 5 people and there's 6 cookies, you don't just take 2 cookies. That's a stupid form of greed. You cultivate, you look around and you say, okay, everybody got a cookie. Hey guys, I'm going to eat this last cookie. Would anybody else like it? Now you can do that to look like a good person, or you can do that strategically and intelligently to get what you want. That's 2 different perspectives, and it's the same act, but it's the energy behind the perspective that allows you to garner more power and more respect in the world. So if you will look to the gummy worms like a virtuous person because they don't know anything. I was like, how polite and nice of him to say that. Oh no, I'm being greedy. I want what I want. I'm selfish and intelligent, and I know that if I do this, I'm going to garner for myself success in the future. I'm only being nice to you because that's going to serve my ends. If it doesn't serve my ends to be nice to you, I'm not going to waste my time. I don't like you, right? And that's an intelligent perspective. Now, no one's going to openly say that because you live in a world of troglodytes and ape men who don't really have the brains to refine these sinful virtues or virtuous sins, right? When you temper your greed with vision and clarity and exacting precision, you become very strategic. You become able to acquire the things that you want, the relationships you want, the goals that you want, and you become a peaceful, happy person. Excuse me, I said the H word. You become a peaceful, satisfied person, okay? So, in Proverbs 13:22, 4:4, it says, wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. It also says throughout the Bible, there's so many things about, getting for yourself, get wisdom, get wealth. God gives freely and doesn't withhold. So in James 1:5-8, with wisdom and knowledge and things like that, God gives freely. So anything you desire, Jesus said, whatsoever things you desire, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. And in Mark 11:22-26. So you got to understand, the Bible's not telling you to not be greedy and don't have desire and don't get angry. It's just saying, be smart, refine it, cultivate it in such a way that helps you to get what you want in life and to be successful. All right. Oh, this is a good question. K-pop is life. Oh, hey, welcome back. I remember you. Wait, so the question is, wait, so are you saying that the seven deadly sins aren't sins? Yes and no. I'm saying that they are only sins when they are in the hands of unevolved troglodyte ape people gummy worms. It's a long way of saying yes and no. The seven sins or the seven deadly sins are not deadly at all. They're not even sins when you refine them. They're actually salvation. So we're talking about the seven sinful virtues that you can use to your advantage if you use them with precision and strategy. If you're strategic with your anger, you can be profoundly effective. If you are clear with your desire and strategic about pursuing it, you will have your desire. Imagine living your entire life and not having anything you desire. You might as well just eat a bag of potatoes. That's what I'm going to say. Okay? They sell shampoo to bald people. Okay? Right? So, anyway, so we're on greed. We talked about greed. And so you were never meant to, get rid of these sins. You were meant to cultivate them. And that's why so many people are poor in the world. The church kind of got in there and sabotaged the divine law, God's divine law. They said the commandments are God's laws when they're not. They're God's descriptions of the Most High, of the chosen. And so that's what that's about. All right, Lara Ngoma says, who are the four figures we will see during the end times? I don't fucking know, and I don't fucking care. There's no such thing as the end times. Today is the end times for the guy that got hit by the truck, run over, and his brains are splattered all over the fucking highway. Today was his end times. The last four figures he saw were the four motherfuckers who were driving the truck that ran his ass over. So, like, that whole idea of the end times, thank you for the comment, by the way. Sorry, sorry, not sorry. The thing is, like, this whole concept of the end times, I'm going to jump on that shit too, but I'm going to make a whole nother video on that. There's no such thing as the end times. Today, if you die today, as a matter of fact, we die daily. Paul said that, but he was saying it esoterically. Every single time you close your eyes and lose consciousness, you're dead. You jump on another timeline. So there's no such thing as the end times. You know how long I've been hearing the end times? Since I had fucking ears. It's the end times. Yeah, it's the fucking end times. For Grandpa, who died 20 years ago, it was the end times 20 years ago for him. There are people who said, today is the last day. Jesus is coming this year. 1844, 1847, 1901, 1918, 1922, 1937. Like, Jesus is always coming. It's always the fucking end times. You know, it was the end times when Jesus was walking the earth? You ever thought about that? It was the end times when Jesus walked the earth. In the Bible, it says there are people that are living now who are writing this. They're going to see Jesus come back. And this is after Jesus left. So, end times, bullshit. Okay? So, I'm not mad at you. I'm using anger strategically to point out the fact that it's fucking stupid. It also gets engagement in the comment section. I'm being strategic, guys. I don't give a fuck. You can believe in end times all you want. So anyway, you were never meant to apologize for accumulating power. Greed is very important. Make sure you check out the video on greed. The greediest people in the world are intelligent, and they're able to cultivate that and refine that greed. I mean, we got a lot of stuff. Wait, so you don't think the 10 Commandments are the rules of God? This is K-pop is life that God gave us? Not trying to be rude, just wondering. No, that's a great question, and I like you, K-pop life, so I won't jump on you. I don't know you next not that much later, so sorry. I just jumped all over your ass. I don't know you like that, motherfucker. No. So yeah, no. The 10 Commandments are not laws. They're not laws. They are descriptions. They're laws for gummy worm troglodytes that don't have functioning cerebral cortices. Their frontal, their frontal anterior to, I don't know. I'm not going to use anatomical terms because I've forgotten. It's been so many years since I taught it. No. The 10 Commandments are not laws of God. Not at all. Laws of God are things like the laws of thermodynamics, which some of them are not true, but whatever. But the laws are observations. No man can make a law. Humans don't have the authority to make laws. Satan can make laws because he's a divine being and he's God of this world. So he can make the laws of this world. But humans can only observe laws. They cannot make them. There's no law has ever been made by a human. All right, Lotta says, so is there such thing as 7 years of tribulation? No. No fucking. There's 7 years. You can create seven. I'm sorry. So Lotta, I'm not being mad at you. I'm just letting you know. But I'm gonna be like, this is the thing. I explain myself a lot because I know that I'm a big pill to swallow. Pause. But no, there's no such thing as 7 years of tribulation whatsoever. That's fucking bullshit. There's a lot of the stuff in the Bible the church took, co-opted, and said, hey, how can we steal their souls and take their money? Oh, we can take this and interpret it in the most stupid motherfucking way possible. Here you go. End times. Jesus is coming in the future. Wait, Jesus died like 2,000 fucking years ago. Excuse me. He died 1997 years ago. So I don't know. 1960 something years ago. He died a long time ago. Okay, so he's gonna come back. Well, he already came back. STFU, right? So we're at Greed. We got 3 more to go. Let's see what's going on. But there's no 7 years. Stupid phone froze. I don't have enough signal. Mr. Platt says it's hard following the 10 Commandments, but I've got something harder. Pause. Yeah, no, it's not hard to follow the 10 Commandments. The thing about the 10 Commandments is they're descriptions of people that just function, like functioning, intelligent people. That's all the 10 Commandments are. If you're a functioning, intelligent person, the 10 Commandments are easy. You don't even have to follow them. You don't follow them. You just are them. You are the 10 Commandments. You embody those things. So K-pop is life. 17. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're 17 years old. I thought that the 10 Commandments were what keep us from sinning. If I'm being 100% honest with you, that's what I've learned my whole life. Yeah, and that's okay to believe that, but it's not true. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not true. It's not true. The Bible says in James and in Matthew and other places, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, okay? So with the 10, and by the way, Paul makes it very clear in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, and in Romans that the 10 Commandments they're just to help you notice things, I guess. Notice where you're slipping. I guess so. That way you're right, but they don't help you to stop sinning at all. They just let you know, okay, you're not the chosen. Okay, you stole from that person. Okay, you're not chosen. That's simple. You're not chosen. When you write God's law in your heart, and notice that Jesus didn't repeat the 10 Commandments. Hello, Tamer. Hello, Tamer. Notice how Jesus refined the 10 Commandments into 2 commandments. He was like, yeah, all that stuff is great, but if you already do that stuff if you're a child of the Most High. You already do that stuff naturally. So, but the 7 deadly sins are actually 7 keys to a fulfilling life, a satisfying life. They're 7 keys to a fulfilling life. And in order for you to have that fulfilling life, you have to cultivate and refine these sins. You don't want to shy away from them. You want to practice them. A gun is a terrible thing in the hands of a 4-year-old. It's a terrible thing in the hands of an 8. But if you have a trained soldier, warrior, assassin, it's a wonderful tool, right? It's a wonderful tool. A gun is a wonderful tool in the hands of the right person. Sins, the 7 deadly sins, are wonderful tools in the hands of apex Christians, in the hands of those of us who have cultivated our natures and utilize those things to improve our lives. All right, moving on. So we talked about greed, we talked about anger, we talked about desire. Let's move on into hatred. Hatred is a wonderful thing. You notice how every once in a while, if a person drives by in a big truck with booming speakers playing rap or country really loud, I just go off. Like I lose my shit. It's contrived, it's strategic, but it's like I really, in my heart, find that profoundly annoying. I find it very, very undesirable. So I hate that kind of stuff. Like I say, I hate people, right? Hating evil is survival. Why do I hate people? Because people have bought into evil. They've turned their brains off and they live like gummy worms. They're, full of fluff and useless stuff, like Winnie the Pooh. All right? So hating evil is survival. Hating mediocrity fuels evolution. I hate my limitations. All right? And I dare say, the problem with hating is that it is, it's just blind hatred. It can corrupt you. It can take you off your path. It can make you weak and slow. The reason that hatred is bad, or it's detrimental or negative, is when it's in the hands of an uncultivated person, that hatred leads to self-destruction, because hatred produces, you'll have cortisol flowing through your body. It starts to break you down because you're in that angry, hateful state. And sometimes hatred is subversive and quiet, and you don't know that it's happening, and it's slowly destroying your body and your brain. That's why hatred is something that we need to cultivate, refine. So there is a refined hatred. You must feel hatred for things in order to actively remove them from your life. But hatred is a step in the step of life. Targeted hatred is a wonderful thing, okay? Because you can say, I hate this sort of thing or this sort of behavior, and it helps you to refine your desires and really find out what you want in life. All right? Sophisticated Supernova says, same with the 7 deadly sins. It helps you notice your pride, lust, envy, wrath, etc. And wrath is, and again, I'm using different terminology, but this is the same thing. These are the 7 deadly virtues, 7 deadly sinful, virtuous, sinful things that you must cultivate and refine. People think that I must work to remove my hatred. No. You must find a way to create space for your hatred so that you can understand that which you hate and understand that it's a reflection of a limitation and a shadow within yourself. There have been people that I hated with all of my heart. And until I understood that they are reflections of things in me that I must remove or cultivate, I was never able to grow. And so hatred was like that laser that helps you to zone in on things in yourself that you see in the world. There are people that, I don't hate very many people. All the people that I hate are either dead or, yeah, I've really cultivated my hatred very, very finely. And also, I'm like a child. You know, I'm childish. I'm extremely childish. So when I see something or deal with someone that I hate, I just throw a tantrum. Like I did in the video yesterday. I will throw a tantrum. I will throw a motherfucking tantrum. And then I get over it. And I even forget what they look like. There have been people that I'm like, and I'm just so angry. But I'm intelligent about my anger. Hatred, excuse me. I hate them. Like, I still hate people. I don't like people. I think people are awful creatures. And if I could snap my fingers and I had that thing that Thanos guy did, I would snap it 3 times real quick. Because I hate people. But I don't hate them enough to feel bad in my body about them. I just look down on them and I hate them. But if you are a person that I meet on the street, I see your humanity and I fall in love with you and I cherish you. I cherish your life. I cherish your personality. I cherish what you are. But I fucking hate people. Like, I would be happy if there were no people in the world. If I could do like this and all the people disappeared, I would be happy. And that allows me to cherish humans, cherish individuals, cherish people that I meet on a day-to-day basis. To see a person in their struggle and pain and say, I see God in you. I see your humanity. Because I love humanity. So hatred is a wonderful thing. I have learned to cultivate it and utilize it strategically to build myself. If I meet a person and I feel hatred in my heart immediately, I say, okay, what is in this person that I see in myself that I don't want to see? That is a cultivated hatred. Hatred is wonderful and it's important. What you have is a lot of stupid, idiot, gummy worm people walk around, and they're veiling their hatred in righteousness. Oh, Israel is destroying the genocide. I hate Israel and Jews. Stupid. Or the reverse, the veiled hatred of Palestinians. We're just protecting ourselves by dropping bombs on children. That's veiled hatred. It's stupid. It's low-level people brain stuff, okay? And so intelligent people are going to understand, okay, like, why do you think the Palestinians and the Israelis are blowing each other up and hating each other and stuff like that? Because they are each other. They see a reflection of self in the other, and they haven't learned to love themselves enough to say, oh, the Palestinians over there are a reflection of something in Israeli society that we don't like. And then the Palestinians, reversely, there's something in Israeli society that's a reflection of Palestinian culture or whatever that we don't like, okay? As I'm telling you, if you go into Palestinian culture, there's some aspects of Palestinian culture that is just like the Israelis. You go to Israel, and they are some of the most racist motherfuckers on the planet. They are racist, okay? So Hatred just is a laser, a mirror. It lets you see in the world what you don't like as a reflection of yourself. And when you cultivate it and you refine it, it helps you to provide a better self to the world and to move forward with intelligence. Okay? Got a lot of movement here. I've just been talking. All right. Yeah. It's K-pop is life. But as Christians, aren't we supposed to be nice to everyone, even if we don't like them? No. No. As Christians, excuse me, the word nice comes from the Latin nitiere. And that, thank you for that question, K-pop is life. Nitiere means stupid, literally. It means naive. This is where we get the word naive. It means, it refers to the intelligence of a child. Okay, nitiere, nitiere. Think of the words like nativity, native. They all have that that Proto-Indo-European root of nt, or nitis, nit. It refers to like small little child brain stupid. Okay, children are stupid. I love them, but they are stupid. They don't, and that's just their nature. It's not bad. It's not wrong. They're supposed to be stupid. Their brains are new. They don't know how to use them. So niceness is stupidity. Do not be nice to everyone. It puts a target on your head and on your face. And that's one of the things I was taught. I'm a very intense, very caustic, very frighteningly intense person. Okay? And I let some of it leak out here for views and likes and all that stuff. Not necessarily for, but just strategically. But if I am my genuine self, I notice that people, when I'm walking down the street, they go from side to side. You know, they part way. They part. The street parts. It could be a group of young men that want to, I'm so cool and strong, and the street will part. And it's not that I'm being an asshole. It's just I embody the spirit of a tiger. And so most people are prey animals. And if I embody that spirit, people get uncomfortable, even if I'm not being mean or anything. And so you have to cultivate a little bit of that in yourself. You have to refine that vicious, bloodthirsty nature of hatred, of violence, to a point where it doesn't harm you. Now, if your violence spills out, or if your hatred spills out with uncontrollable rage, and then you're harming yourself, because you get incarcerated, you pay fines, you got to pay a lawyer, you got to get your record cleaned up, and then you got to do this and then that. And if you end someone's life, and you got that whole inconvenience to deal with. I'm being joking here, okay? But the whole idea is anger, hatred, viciousness, caustic intensity. Those things are beautiful things. They're shadows. And it took me many years to work through that. I had to do over a year of shadow work to refine these beautiful, beautiful things and utilize. And there's still times that I try to be nice, but that's when I find myself in a weak state. Niceness is for bunnies. Niceness is for the little mice and the little people. Like little people that are weak and afraid in life. Be nice. Caustic viciousness is something that you must cultivate. And you'll notice that people respect you more. It's better to be respected, respected and feared than to be loved. There's so many women, I'm telling you over and over, people tell, so many, I can't tell you how many women have just told me, I love you so many times. I love you, I love you. They tell me, I love you, I love you. And if they don't respect me, I'm like, yo, I cannot do this. Okay? So it's better to be feared and respected than it is to be loved. Because things that we love, we often cherish and things like that, but we treat them like trash. We may not always appreciate them, and we may not always like hold on to them and respect them. So which would you rather, love or respect? Choose respect, because you'll get more out of life that way, and that will lead to fulfillment. You can get a lot of happiness out of love, but happiness is a terrible emotion, and you must remove it from your life at all costs. Okay? All right. So, apex humans hate decay, we hate stagnation, we hate smallness ruthlessly. And we remove it from our lives, from our personalities, with exacting viciousness. In Psalms 97 verse 10, it says you must love the Lord your God, but hate and eschew evil. Evil is anything that impedes the flow of your life. That is people, that is things, that is ideas. There are ideas and beliefs that I had for years that got in the way of my joy. I hated them, and I had to learn to remove them from my life Until I hated those ideas, and even, dare I say, hated the people that gave me those ideas, I was not able to overcome them and not able to live a good life, a fulfilling, satisfying life. Okay? All right. Lust. The fifth virtuous sin is lust. Lust is demonized by weak, um, weak, perverted people. Weak, perverted, cowardly people demonize lust. Okay? Lust is misunderstood by naive, weak, perverted people. And lust is creative power. It's creative flow. It's what brings new life into the world. It creates art, innovation, new ideas. It goes back to the 7 spheres of intelligence. Sexual intelligence is a part of that. And lust is the tool of sexual intelligence. Again, if you are using lust in a destructive way, stupid, right? You're at work and you see an attractive coworker and you just oogle and Google and get all over them. Stupid. Why? Because it destroys you. It impacts you negatively. All of these sins are gifts. They are virtues. If you cultivate them and refine them, lust is no different. Lust, again, is creative raw power. And Jesus says, if you lust at a woman in your heart, you've sinned. He's talking about harmatia, erring from the path. It's the same thing that I was talking about earlier with sodomy. True sodomy, everybody who's having sex and enjoying it and not making kids is a sodomite, by definition. Same thing with lust. Lust is one of those things that destroys us. That's why it is terrible. A man who looks at a woman and longs for her, pines after her in his heart, but doesn't go and talk to her and to determine whether or not she's worthy of a relationship, or if he's worthy of her relationship, is sinning. He is missing the mark. He is not reaching his goal. And Jesus condemned that. But again, the church took that, they perverted it, or they changed its direction, they changed its direction, and they said, oh, when you look at a woman and you appreciate the beauty of her body that God has created, you're going to hell. No. If you look at her and you feel those warm, tingling feelings in your body and in your body, then you're going to hell. No, you're not. And no, it's not wrong. The problem is if you do not act on those feelings in a harmonious and intelligent way. So, lust is a gift. It's a beautiful thing. There's an entire book in the Bible built on lust. Oh, did you know there's an entire book in the Bible that is written based on lust? It's a lustful book. It's called Song of Solomon. And in Song of Solomon 7, verse 6, it says, how beautiful and pleasant thou art, O loved one, with all your delights. Now, I'm not going to read all of it because it talks about different parts of her body and how delicious and wonderful they are. It's a book of lust, okay? And it's an X-rated book in the Bible. Nobody talks about it, but it's right there. Everybody's Bible has it. You just get your Bible, open it up, talks about all those beautiful things, okay? I'm not going to get into details, all right? So when you harness your lust in an intelligent way, in a selfish, divine apex way, it awakens vitality and attracts greatness. A lustful man, the most lustful men in the world are the greatest men, because when they refine it, because they're able to go out and create things and create companies and conquer the world and attack things and be powerful and amazing. All right? So let's see. K-Pop is Life says, question. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about. Sorry, but I'm listening. Okay, my question is, what is your opinion on the LGBTQ AI community? Yes, that's a great question because they fall into the lust and desire category. There's nothing wrong with LGBTQ AI plus A B C D F G L M N O P. I call them alphabet soup because, or the rainbow community. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And they say, well, the Bible says the man shall not lie with man. Again, it goes back to the whole idea of apex humanity, apex Christianity. If you want to bring a child in the world and you're living in the desert and you say, I want to bring a child into the world, I want to create new life, I'm going to go and make a child with someone of my same chromosome structure. I'm going to go find another XY person or an XX person, whatever your chromosomes are, and try to make a child with them. That's sinful because it misses the mark. If your goal is this, you're doing this. That's the point. There's nothing wrong with LGBTQAI plus ABCDFG. I believe that nature created these peculiarities in our human expression so that it can cull and create a harmonious growth pattern within humanity. It seems as if once you get to 12 children from the same mating pair, there's always going to be one of them that's a little bit touched by the rainbow, right? So it seems like that's a natural, normal aspect of the human construction. So yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. The whole idea of sodomy has been twisted by the church because the Catholic Church at that time, and the Orthodox as well, wanted to grow as many Christians as possible. The greatest way to say that is say, hey, look, you guys don't diddle each other. Women don't diddle each other. Or what the Catholics did, actually, this is documented. What the Catholics did, and I don't have the documents, so don't ask me to post it in the comments below, but I did look this up. The Catholics did this, and it was covert, was they just took all the gay men and made them priests. Makes sense, right? Because you just take them away from the population, and they do all their little stuff in the whatever the place where they keep all the priests, whatever you call it, monastery. Same with the lesbians; they just became nuns, so they had a place for this, and I think it's it just has its place. Now, if you want to start a family and bring children in the world, probably don't want to be gay because you can't do it. You got to pay extra money to do that, or you got to adopt somebody. And I think it's better that you just, create new life in the way that God has allowed you to, in your best way possible. So, yeah, no. The LGBTQIA, I'm not big on that. I don't really believe in that. I don't think that it's a thing. I just think that there is sex, which creates more life. Trees do it, animals do it, birds do it, humans do it, animals do it. And that sex happens between male and female of the species. Sexual activity is different from sex. Sexual activity is masturbation. You're not making another human from that. You're just pleasuring yourself. But it's sexual activity. That's basically what you have in the LGBTQAI. It's cultivation of pleasure and stimulation of the erogenous zones of the body in a place that creates connection between partners and things like that. It's not something special. We've made too much of it. It's just humans doing things that feels good to them in the moment. It's not special. There's nothing special about LGBTQAI. I think we should stop talking about it. I think we should say there's sexuality, and that's it. There's sex and there's sexuality. Let's just tease the two apart. Let's stop pretending as if LGBTQAI matters, because it doesn't. We're going to have a whole month dedicated to what people do in the bedroom in privacy with people that they connect with. So, leave it alone. If someone wants to do that in the privacy of their home, yeah, do it, whatever. Don't do it in the street in front of a bunch of little kids. Okay? That's disgusting. It's just as disgusting as if two heterosexual people were doing that in front of a bunch of kids. It's disgusting. Stop it. So that's the only problem I have with LGBTQAI plus plus ABCDFG LMNOP QRS right? The letters just keep expanding. And by the way, asexual people are part of that LGBTQAI plus 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 stuff. And asexual people are a real thing. They're people that just don't like sex. They don't do it. They don't care for it. It's not their thing. And that's totally fine. All right? So when you harness lust, you can awaken vitality and attract greatness. You can create wonderful things in the world. Okay? And it feels really good when you have lust and you're able to act on it and fulfill it. Lust feels terrible if you just have it in your body and you're like, oh, I like her. Oh, I want that. Oh. It's a terrible feeling. So if it feels bad to you, don't do it. It's that simple. All right? Love yourself enough to not have lust. But if you have lust, refine it and get what you want. Okay? Fulfilled lust is the best feeling in the world. All right? There are times where I met people, I've met individuals and be like, hey, and then they're like, hey, and we just have a wonderful time. And it's like it's in my top 10 experiences in my mind. Things I will take with me out of this world. Memories of those experiences. Best experiences ever. So K-Pop is Life says, yeah, I was just wondering because I'm bisexual and asexual, so I wanted to know your opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's a real thing. And do what feels, useful and genuine for you. And the whole, I think we should get rid of all those labels. Bisexual, asexual, homosexual, lesbiosexual, pansexual, demisexual. I think it's just a waste of letters and words. I mean, if you want to understand that that's your specific way of showing up, I guess I get it. But I think let's just understand that humans are sexual. And there are parts of the body and parts of the spirit that require stimulation, and we gain gratification from that. Okay? Let's just own that. And let's also stop trying to include children in that. I think that is the one thing I think is objectively immoral. It's an abomination. We're trying to get kids into this stuff, and let's leave them alone. They will discover it on their own when it's time. Every child is different. Leave them alone. And so I think that's the main thing. Just leave children out of it. But outside of that, do what you do. Connect with who you connect with. Let it be consensual, because when it's consensual, it's beautiful and it's fun. And God approves of it. The Most High approves of it. Even Satan approves of it when it's consensual. So don't go against God and Satan. You will end up hurting yourself. Okay? So yeah, of course, you're welcome. Yeah. That's a big thing. And I do talk about the LGBTQAI stuff. I've gone back and forth on it, but at the end of the day, I think it's whatever. If I'm in Muslim countries, I'm going to be like, fuck the LGBTQAI. That's the devil. I ain't trying to lose my life for some damn ideal. I'm selfish enough to know that. I want to see pyramids. I'm straight. All right, for real, bringing children into it is so stupid. Yeah, and it's destructive, and it's actually, that's something that is objectively immoral, because children are not sexual. There's nothing sexual about a child, and nature has demonstrated that, because children cannot reproduce. You see, that's God's law. And when you see that, like, you got to just look at nature and look at life and say, okay, lions cannot mate with bears. It's impossible. So that's not sex. That can't happen. Just like little children can't make little children. So they're not sexual. They cannot do that. There's nothing there. So we have to just be honest about that. And all these people are like, kill the pedophiles. But they're pedophiles in the closet. That's why they say that. Think about the hardest anti-homosexual people. The people that are like, death to F words. Well, guess what? They're closeted gay. At night, they secretly watch gay pornography. Because we're on YouTube. They watch pornography. Ugh, it's stupid. See, that's another stupid thing. You can't say certain words. That's another stupid fucking thing. All right, anyway. So yeah, lust is good. It's useful. Just refine it, cultivate it, learn how to use it. Okay? Yeah. All right, so the sixth virtuous sin is selfishness. Selfishness is one of my favorite sins, because I work really hard to cultivate my selfishness, to become as selfish as possible. And God is helping me become more and more selfish every day, and I'm getting better at it. And so selfishness is the ultimate survival tool. It is built into all of us like greed. It is at the core of our nature. God loves selfishness. He encourages it. The Most High wants you to be as selfish as you possibly can, and intelligent while you do it. Again, so rational selfishness is necessary. It is divine. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I try to teach my children now. I used to teach them, be nice, share your toys. But now I'm like, be intelligent. You know, if that friend is doing things that is harming themselves and you love them and you don't like to see that, how does that feel in your body? Does that feel bad? Okay, cut that friend off. Cutting them off feels less bad than watching them hurt themselves, because you love them. Find people that love themselves as well, so you can love your friends loving themselves, and you all can love yourselves, and you all be lovely people and have a lovely world. So it's very important. All right, well, I have to go. Well, thank you for joining K-Pop is Live. I appreciated your comments and your questions. All right, thank you so much for coming back. It's good to see you again. All right, but selfishness is a beautiful thing. Self-neglect is not holy. It is wicked. Self-sacrifice is suicidal. Do not do it. I was taught to do that because I'm one of those apex people with a lot of energy, a lot of power, a lot of virtue and vice. And people knew that if they could teach me to outsource my power to them, they would gain power. They would gain from my divine power. And so the thing we have to do is we have to cultivate our selfishness intelligently. You don't want your selfishness to be spilling out in the world reckless and dirty and messy and all that, because it's going to destroy you. You want your selfishness to be beautiful, strategic, and refined. I'll give you an example. You're in a relationship with someone that you find profoundly beautiful and attractive, and you like their personality, and you know, and they actually are value to your life, right? Is it self-sacrifice and they're truly of value to your life. You couldn't imagine living without them because you really like having them and they accentuate the good things about you. Is it self-sacrifice to rescue them from a burning car and potentially harm yourself in the process? No, that's very selfish. It's extremely selfish to potentially damage yourself to save someone you genuinely value, because the loss of that person, the suffering of that person impacts you negatively. So people have to understand that selfishness is bigger than just, I'm going to take care of me only, and I'm going to fuck everybody else. No, that's stupid. That's not selfish. Selfishness is, I'm cultivating virtues, I'm showing virtues, and I'm doing it strategically because I want certain things out of life, and I know I can get it by using these sort of tools socially. And sociopaths get this. They understand that. So it's like selfishness is a cultivated sociopathy. And you can develop it, and it's a wonderful thing. In Philippians 2, verse 4, it says, let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. But notice how it says, not only to your own interests. It encourages you to look at your own interests. All right? Love others as you love yourself. The Bible, Paul also says for a husband to love a woman as he loves his own body. Love his wife as he loves his own body. You cannot love someone outside of yourself until you've learned to love and appreciate and be selfish within your own self. So take care of yourself. Break the hive mind of, let me save everybody else. Let me be good to everybody else. Because at the end of the day, no one cares about you as much as they care about themselves. And at the end of the day, every act that you perform is selfish because you are looking for that satisfying feeling of, I was good to that person. I was nice to that person. That's satisfaction. And you feel that good feeling inside of yourself, and that's selfish. So why not just be an adult, be a spiritually mature person, and be openly selfish, but do it intelligently? Apex humans secure our own oxygen mask, then we elevate others. And finally, the seventh virtuous sin is vengeance. This has been called a vice, but the Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Now, is that a statement saying, let God have all the vengeance and wait for God to take care of your enemies? Or is it saying the Lord identifies himself as one who has vengeance? So if you are one of the Elohim, you're one of the children of the Most High, why not you have vengeance? Vengeance feels so good. Tupac said, and I don't like Tupac that much, but it was a great choice. He said, the greatest joy. He said, vengeance is the greatest joy next to getting the P word. Anyway, he's talking about it, taking out your vengeance upon someone who has harmed you or someone's your enemy. Wonderful thing. Again, let's go back to it. You have to be selfish. You have to be intelligent about how you enact your vengeance. If you see someone that has harmed you, you say, okay, I'm going to go and enact vengeance upon that person. Don't do that. Stupid. Okay? Real vengeance, you have to do what Anton LaVey, and I learned this from Anton LaVey, the father of the Church of Satan. You have to enact what's called a psychodrama because you're going to carry the resentment in you until you resolve it. Vengeance helps you to resolve resentment, anger, and hatred that destroys your body. So if someone like slaps you, I like how Anton LaVey says, he said, obliterate them. And he's saying it really, he makes it clear that the entire Satanic Bible and these sorts of writings of his are done psychodramatically, they're done in jest, they're done to elicit a certain understanding. A stupid person would act on those things literally. So someone slaps them and then they go and obliterate that person. Well, they go to jail for life, right? Stupid. The intelligent form of vengeance, the intelligent utilization of vengeance is, okay, this person has harmed me. How do I resolve the natural anger and hatred that I feel against that person for harming me? How do I resolve that? Well, what you do is you go and create a ceremony. You sit down, and there's a whole exercise for this. I'm not going to share it here because you have to get Hey God Wake the Fuck Up to... She was driving a micro penis truck, but she was hot. She actually looked like one of my friends. She don't live over here. She was hot though. She looked like one of my little friends. I would never get with her though because she and I are both Aquarius, and I couldn't do that. It's like incest to me. It feels weird. Anyway, but she was hot. So vengeance is a wonderful tool. If someone has harmed you, you need to get revenge. That's what Tupac said. Revenge is like the greatest joy next to getting, you know. So, but he's right. It's a wonderful feeling to have vengeance. And the thing is, you have to be selfish with your vengeance. You have to be greedy with it. You have to be very intelligent. You have to be strategic. You're not going to go out, okay, this person harmed me. Let me go and immediately respond to that right now. I'm a Scorpio rising. And so I tend to, if someone harms me, I remember that and I'm like, okay, we're gonna resolve this later. I wait until I have the time to do it and I do it. But vengeance is very important. It's not about being petty. It's a divine order to restore balance and to restore yourself. Okay. It's like the divine order really bringing balance back to the universe. Someone harms you unjustly, you have to go and take care of that. Okay. And so if someone puts violence upon you and you have the means to defend yourself, well, then you do that with exacting precision, right? But if that causes you to violate a gummy worm rule and causes you to lose your freedom by being incarcerated, you have to be intelligent. And you have to use vengeance more intelligently. I love the Count of Monte Cristo was written by one of my ancestors, Alexander Dumas. And in that is a beautiful story of vengeance where Tiago, I believe it is, I have to remember the name of the character. It's been years since I've read that or at least listened to the audiobook. This guy was completely wrong, or The Man in the Iron Mask, that's what it was. The Count of Monte Cristo and The Man in the Iron Mask, both amazing stories. He wrote both. But he basically showed how you can do the long game. China is a great example of this. The West harmed China in many ways with the opium trade and all of that. And China was like, okay, we're going to play the long game. And they waited 100 years to return the favor. I'm going to tell you, look at some of the drugs that are floating around in the U.S. right now. They return the favor. So vengeance is a wonderful tool. You just have to be intelligent, strategic, and selfish about it and play the long game. I will give you this here. It's a wonderful exercise. You will find it in Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up. Bible wisdom you're not supposed to know about real life and the real you. This is the thing about the church. They know that they are harming you constantly. Whatever church it is, spiritual abuse is rampant. And so what they want you to do is say, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So the church just did something. Like think about the priest that molested all those kids and the church just turned a blind eye. They're like, forgive, because vengeance is God's. And when they die, they're going to go to hell. Hell doesn't exist. Everybody goes to heaven. Stop being stupid. So the church knows that. They used to preach that for 500 years. And then they were like, wait a second, we're losing money. Hey, you know what? If you touch yourself, you're going to hell. Pay me some money and I'll help you get out. And then that's like a whole cycle of suffering for the last 1,400, 1,600 years. So the church knows that when you enact vengeance, you balance the scales and return power to yourself. And so they know that they're harming you through spiritual abuse. And when you realize that, wait, you guys have been taking my money. You guys have been taking my spiritual energy. Okay, it's time to settle the score. What you do is you play the long game. Or you enact this ritual that I'll share with you now. I'll get to the end of this and then I'll share the ritual. Okay? The weak beg for peace. The powerful enforce it. Okay? First, you have to develop peace within yourself. This ritual that I'm going to share with you is going to help you do that. So make sure you drop a like. If I get to 3 likes or whatever, I will share the exercise because it'll cultivate your power and help you to do vengeance on people. And you'll be just fine. It'll never come back on you. It's none of this stupid magic stuff where like, oh, if you do a magic spell and it's bad, it's going to come back to you 3 times pressed down. Bullshit. It's not true. Black magic is the only magic. There's no such thing as black and white magic. Magic is magic is magic is magic is magic. There's no such thing as black magic, okay? White light, witch. Bullshit, witch. Okay? No such thing. Magic is magic. Miracles are miracles. Sorcery, sorcery. It's all the same. Okay? So vengeance helps to return your power to you. And the reason that vengeance is so important is because your spirit, your body, your inner self will always hold that grudge. When you enact vengeance, the grudge goes away. Like I have no grudges. I have no enemies. All my enemies are dead. I actually mean that. I mean that. There were kids in school back when I was a kid that did certain things. And I'm going to tell you, the moment that every single person that has harmed me or stepped in my way or done something that was truly unjust. I learned that the first thing that you must do, this can get into the exercise, we'll just say this before I get into the exercise. And I'm going to tell you how to get rid of these people. Like you can do some real damage. I'll give you an example and I'll actually give you the exercise. All right? Psalms 94, verse 1. Oh, Lord, I don't see 3 likes, so fuck you guys. I'm going to give you the exercise. I'll just give you an example, and then you guys got to get the book. Psalms 94, verse 1. O Lord, God of vengeance, O God of vengeance, shine forth. Okay? When tempered with reason, vengeance becomes cosmic justice. And you can enact it yourself. Since I don't have 3 likes yet, fuck you guys. I will just tell the experience that I had, one of many. And then you guys have to get the book to learn how to do this to people. Because there's no law, there are no rules in society that can, there's no implication in court. And I can say this 100 million times on all platforms, okay? You cannot be implicated in court for what I'm about, well, what you'll read in that book. Because there are no rules in society against using magic to get rid of somebody. In Islamic society there is, so whatever. But how can they prove that you use magic? Blah, 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 whatever. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Just don't tell nobody that you're using this thing and you'll be fine. And you got to make sure that your spirit is clear before you do it, because it will come back and burn you. But I'll just tell you what I did and how it turned out. And this is like 3 or 4 times I've done it hundreds of times. I've been successful about maybe 10 or 15 times or more. I've been successful under 20 times, but I've done it a lot of times. So you're not always going to be successful with this. It matters how much you remove the hatred in your heart and anger. So, yeah, vengeance is very important. So there was a man who was had a fetish for men that looked like me. I was a young man. I was very young and very beautiful. And he had a fetish for men like me. And I was like a good little Christian boy. You're not supposed to be vengeful. You're not supposed to be hateful. But he made a lot of sexual advances toward me. And I was like maybe 19, 20, somewhere in there. 18, 19. Well, no. I was like, 19 or 20. And I was just really uncomfortable with it. Complete sexual harassment. But I didn't know that I was taught to just take it and be a good Christian and get accosted and just be like, Jesus will take him. Jesus, please forgive him. Jesus, do. All right. And I'm talking about the weak, bitchy version of it. I'm not talking about the way I used it. And so there was one day I was working. I was a surgical technologist, and I was one of the youngest surgical technologists in the United States, certified. And so I'd been a surgical technologist for about a year by that point. And I was scrubbed in, so you can't touch other people. It's a sterile environment. And he came behind me one day and like got on my neck, like put his head near my neck, his face near my neck, and put his hands on me. And was like, because he noticed I wasn't responding to his advances. And he said, what I could do to you and this and that. Like he was like, basically I could make your life very hard. Because he was wealthy, doctor, whatever. He was high up in the organization. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, First I was very afraid. I felt very weak. I felt violated. But then I stopped and I said, I know I have a support team. And at that time, I had 7 angels around me, angelic forces, we'll call it that. There were 7 energy signatures around me that took care of things for me. And I think 2 of them may have been demonic forces because they did some really destructive things and they got involved in this instance. And so I was like, ooh. And I said, Lord, he just overstepped the boundaries. I was like, I forgive him completely because I know it's not going to end well for him. And I release him completely. I forgave him. I didn't ask God to forgive him. I forgave him, meaning I released myself from feeling some sort of way about what he did because he violated. He stepped into my field. He violated and touched my body. And so within a very short time, he got meningitis and died, like within days or weeks of that event. And he was a healthy man. So, that was one instance, and there were a couple others. There was a guy who used to torment me when I was in grade school. Was murdered. Some years later, shortly. It took years, but I totally forgave him at a certain point. I realized where it was around the time that I forgave him. I found out that he had been murdered. Then, when I was a little kid, I still had these angels protecting me. I was around age 6, 7, somewhere in there. Prior to age 10. I was at a school where I was the only kid that looked like this and, chocolate child. and the other kids marginalized me. They just pushed me off the side. It was not racist. They were just stupid kids, and just kids being kids. And they pulled all their desks away from me and were like, "We don't like you," da da da, whatever. And I was naive and stupid, and so I was just like, "Wow, why are they sitting over there?" Because I'm on the spectrum. At least I was more on the spectrum back then than I am now. I was an Asperger back then, and so I was just confused. I was like, "Why are they over there and I'm over here?" And da da da. So all the boys in the classroom moved away from me and moved all their desks to the other side of the room, and they were like, "We don't like you. You're stupid." And da da da. It was my first week or two at the school, and I just was confused by it. And while they were praying, a fan that had been spinning in the roof fell down on them. Bow! It didn't harm them, but it was kind of a thing. And there have been several others where tree branches fell from 100 and something feet up onto a person's car minutes after they did something that was absolutely like totally not good. I almost became physically violent with them over it. And tree branch fell on them. So from hundreds of feet, it would have killed them if it hit them, but it hit their car. But it happened literally within minutes, like less than 3 minutes of me saying a prayer and forgiving them. So I had to forgive them, meaning I had to release them from my energy field and say, "Cosmos, level the field." And if you really want to enact vengeance, that's how you do it. But the church wants you to go, "Oh, you harmed me, so I'm just going to be resentful against you forever and develop cancer when I'm 50 years old because I've been holding this hatred in my heart for 50 motherfucking years, like a fucking idiot." Right? Don't do that. Use vengeance. Use vengeance. Revenge is a wonderful thing. Just be smart with it. Right now in the U.S., there are no laws against using spiritual warfare. I'm going to call it that. Ghost magic. There's no laws against spiritual warfare. If someone dies because of a ritual you did or because of a prayer you prayed, you can't go to jail for that. Unless you're a dumbass and you had a hand in it. Don't be a stupid fucking idiot and go to a person and like slip them hundreds of thousands of dollars and be like, and look at them and go, "Wink, wink. Lord, please shoot my husband at 12:30 a.m. on Monday. Lord, please have someone shoot my husband, blah, blah." Like a dumbass. Don't do that, okay? Vengeance starts with what the Bible says, like what Jesus says. This is all Apex Christianity. This is Christianity for the elevated, evolved people. Jesus said, "You'll get everything you want when you pray. If you desire it in your heart, you're going to get it. It's coming to you." The question is, he said, but in order for that to happen, you have to forgive everyone in your heart that you have anger and frustration against. So you pray. He said, "Whatsoever things you desire." And then there are people that come later, like gummy worms. I'll show you all this one. What do you guys think? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway. I have to do that. You can't even see your face. But there are gummy worms that'll come and say, "Oh, vengeance is, when Jesus says, 'Whatsoever things you desire,' he's talking about good things." No, he's fucking not. That's why he said forgive everybody. So if you desire that someone leave your life, just say, "Lord, I'm done with this pattern in my life. I forgive this person, but I'm no longer going to let them cross my boundaries. I'm not going to let them harm me like they did in the past." Take care of it. Nobody can put you in jail for that. Okay? So, you can't go to jail for that. And you can play this video in court. Nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to say, "So he's a crazy man. Who cares? He told you to pray. Prayer doesn't exist. It's not real. It doesn't work." Yeah, it doesn't work. When you do it the way the church tells you, it doesn't work. When you pray for real, you've forgiven someone like Jesus said, and you say, "Lord, level the playing field." You truly forgiving them means what Jesus said. It means to let them go. Jesus literally said, just don't see them in your mind, just forget that they exist. That's what turning your cheek really is. It's like turning your mind to another reality. So vengeance is a wonderful gift. It's a beautiful way of the life rebalancing things. All you have to do is get out of the way by letting go of resentment, forgiving that person that's harmed you, and let vengeance take its place. And watch how it happens. Look, that person's life may be getting better afterwards. They may get married and have a bunch of money and seem really happy. Wish them well and move on. That's true vengeance, okay? That's what I have to say about that. So anyway, like, share, subscribe. I don't see 3 likes, so fuck you guys. get your copy of, I use this one because no one's going to buy this. All the other copies sold out. But get your copy of Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up. Bibleism you're not supposed to know about, real life and the real you. Which of these virtues or virtuous sins have you been taught to fear? Let me know in the comments when I post this video. You can let me know now. These sins were actually designed to set you free, to give you power, to help you to be satisfied with this life so that you don't pine for a heaven after this life and pay all your money and your energy to the church. It's just a waste of time and energy. All right, 75. All right, let's get out of here. In conclusion, survival demands obedience to cosmic and divine laws. Okay? Thriving demands mastery of those divine laws and mastery of your boundaries, your edges, and your power. Okay? The 7 forces, the 7 virtues, the 7 virtuous sins are ways that you can thrive in this world. Okay? Denying them and trying to exorcise them from your life will keep you small, weak, and stupid. Cultivate these things with awareness, with clarity, and with harmony, and you will more than survive. You will thrive, you will transcend, you will prosper, and you will develop a deeper relationship with the Most High. So with that said, the Golden Age isn't built on timid, weak minds. It is built by those who master themselves and the forces within them. These 7 deadly sins are actually 7 divine virtues. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. Follow for more unfiltered, uncomfortable truths that you find in the Bible that they cannot teach you in the church. Apex humans, we don't fear sin, we master it. Master these 7 divine sins. Thank you, Two Duels. What's up? We're talking about the 7 divine virtues that were mislabeled the 7 deadly sins. And that's all I have to say about that. Catch the video when it is posted fully. Drop a like before I get out of here. Oh yeah, and get your copy of Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up, Bible wisdom that you're not supposed to know about real life and the real you. And there's an exercise in here that you can do yourself to enact vengeance upon your enemies. And it'll release you from the hell that is coming their way. Thanks for watching. Stay Apex.